Elderly woman found an abandoned baby on the side of the road. She didn't notice the baby was wearing a jade pendant worth millions of dollars around his neck. She had just been kicked out of her son and daughter-in-law's house in the city. Seeing the abandoned baby, she felt compassion. She decided to take him back to the countryside and raise him as her own grandson. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. The elderly woman raised the boy by collecting and selling recyclables. The boy grew up to be very considerate and filial. Not only did he not mind the woman's situation, he openly told his classmates that she was his grandmother. He even asked them to give her their empty drink bottles. Unexpectedly, one day, while on the way back home with recyclables, the little boy suddenly fainted and collapsed on the ground. After being taken to the hospital for an examination, the doctor said the boy had a congenital genetic disease. To cure it completely, he would need a liver transplant. The elderly woman's liver turned out to be a match. The doctor explained that at her age, the surgery was very risky, and her recovery would also be very slow. But the woman had long treated the boy as her own grandson. To gather enough money for the surgery, she even sold her house in the countryside. Even the doctor felt it wasn't worth it for her. After all, she had only found the boy on the roadside. Perhaps he had been abandoned by his birth parents because of this illness. Meanwhile, at the home of the wealthiest family in town, the wealthy woman was sadly looking at a photo of her son and crying. Years ago, their family was chased by enemies. Her son was taken and abandoned by them during that time. They had been searching for their son's whereabouts ever since. They were convinced that their son was still alive. Meanwhile, the elderly woman and the boy were already in the operating room. She vowed in her heart that she would save the boy, even if it cost her life. Soon, the wealthy family received news. It stated that a 6-year-old boy had just been admitted to the central hospital. The boy was wearing a jade pendant identical to their son's. Upon hearing that his son had been adopted by someone, and was just undergoing a liver transplant, the CEO immediately ordered his assistant to prepare a private jet. He wanted to go fetch his son and their great benefactor right away. Fortunately, the surgery went very smoothly. The elderly woman regained consciousness as well. When she went to give her card to the doctor to pay for the recovery costs, the doctor informed her that her card had been frozen. All her money was in that card. She asked the doctor to check it again. At that moment, her son and daughter-in-law walked in. They hadn't come to visit her out of concern, but to take the last few tens of thousands she had left, despite her spending her entire life collecting trash and selling it, to buy her son and daughter-in-law a house in the city. They felt no gratitude. They even blamed her for adopting the boy. The daughter-in-law snatched her money to buy a designer bag. The elderly woman desperately shouted that the money was for the boy's medical treatment. She pleaded with her daughter-in-law to leave at least $20,000, saying that she could go without treatment, but the boy must be treated. Her son became furious upon hearing this. He angrily scolded her for ever bringing the boy home and adopting him. To humiliate her further, her daughter-in-law threw $200 at her, saying it was for a burial urn for the boy. Seeing her life-saving money taken from her, the elderly woman was so heartbroken that her wound reopened, and she fainted on the hospital bed. Just as the boy was crying for help, the CEO couple arrived at the hospital in time.